Larry here from Larry's Fountain Pens. Today, I want to talk a little bit about a pen that really doesn't get a lot of exposure. You don't see a lot of people really talking about this pen. I don't know why. It's really a cool pen, a great pen, affordable pen. So this video may be a little bit lengthy, so you might want to grab your favorite beverage or have a snack, enjoy whatever you do enjoy when you're watching videos, because this is, to me, a pretty interesting fountain pen that needs more love, that needs to be addressed more, that needs to be talked about more. So I am going to talk about it more. So let's get out of here and go into the pen room, okay? Boom. Well, here we are, my friends, in the pen room. And the pen that I want to share and talk about is the Noodlers fountain pens. It's one of the first fountain pens that I stepped up in when I first got into the fountain pen game around December 1st, 2015. Yes, I was already checking them out back in 2013 and 14, but actually put my hat in the rabbit hole back in 2015, December 1st. No, I take it back. January the 1st, 19... What? Kind of get to thinking. 1920? No. Oh, just joke. Alright, actually, 2015. January 1st, 2015. Just kidding with you. But that's when I actually got into the fountain pen world. But like I said, back 2013 and 14, I was checking them out, looking at them, remembering, going down memory lane when I was using my first fountain pen back in elementary school. I think it was 5th grade, 6th grade, and then 7th grade, and off and on through junior high school. So my very first pen that I were using were the Jinhao 599s or 566. I have them somewhere in my drawer. But anyway, I came upon the Noodlers fountain pens, as you see right there. Affordable. Yeah, I don't remember how much they were then, but these are the older models that I'm going to show you that I have. I need to get some newer models because the colors pop. They really are nice colors. Now, Nathan was the creator of the Noodlers fountain pens, as well as the inks. So, here are the first two Noodlers Ahabs that I bought. These are it. Still have them. And then, later down the road, I got a Noodlers Conrad. Then a friend of mine gave me the music Neposset. 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 Music nib. Thank you. And then later on I did get the Jeepers Creepers, the Noodlers Creeper. Now they come with flex nibs. But they do sell Noodlers pens, I think, with just a standard nib. Now, I'm not sure if they do that because I've checked, and where I've been looking at is just flex nibs. Now, you don't have to use a, you don't have to flex all the time you write. You can just write with a flex nibs as a regular way you write with a everyday nib. But what's cool about the flex nib is that when you're doing that downstroke, is that when you can apply some pressure to get a wider variation of width, which is really cool. And that ink that you're using can really pop when you're writing. If you're an artist, you know, which I'm not, that can really come in handy doing different line variations with a flex nib. The true flex nibs. Now we're going to talk about true flex nibs. They're not true flex nibs what we have today. The true flex nibs are the vintage flex nibs that were made back in the 1920s, 1940 era. And one that really comes to mind is the Waterman. Absolute super bad, meaning great, flex nibs. But that's all they used back in those days was the flex nibs. They were like like regular steel nibs are to us today, because back then they had the equipment to make a really genuine flex nib, whereas of today they don't have that type of equipment. That's what I'm reading, because the demand isn't there. So they come out with what they call soft nibs. Some do say flex nib, but are they truly a flex nib? Well, when you see some videos of some vintage flex nibs, then you can decide yourself, is that a true flex nib what I have now? Because back then they are totally different. Now I do have a Waterman true flex nib. I don't have it in this video. That is super bad. Whew. Now that's a genuine flex nib, but we're talking about Ahab's. So Nathan came up with the flex nib, a steel flex nib that is affordable. So if you're thinking about getting into pens, you're a newbie, you want to try a flex nib, you don't want to spend the bucks on it, or if you're already down the rabbit hole and you're thinking about flex nibs and you're seeing all these crazy cool beautiful flex nibs, but super affordable flex nibs, not because they're going to be kind of like in the high dollar range, but if you want an affordable flex nib that does the job, then you might want to check out the Noodlers flex nibs. And they come like this. I'll start them off with the Noodlers. Let's say the Noodlers Creeper. And they're around 16 bucks. They have a smaller nib, but still does what it needs to do, flex. And this has a piston filler. Then you have the Noodlers Ahabs, and they come in a whole lot more colors, but these are my first ones that I bought. And these run about 23 bucks now. I forgot what they ran back then, back in 2015. Then you have the Noodlers Conrad, and they go from anywhere from 20 to 40 bucks. ink window, piston filler, really cool pen, easy to clean out. And then the granddaddy of them all, Nipperson Music Nip, piston filler, I believe. No, I'm wrong. This has the converter in it, which is cool. And I'm looking at my notes. The piston vacuum is what they call this as well, which is cool. Because when you fill this pen up, not only do you get ink in the main compartment, but back up in here will also get some ink in here as well. So you have a little backup ink as well, so it's pretty cool. Boom, boom. And Nathan, again, he's the creator of all these great pens. And this pen runs about 75 bucks. Now, what I like about these pens, the the Ahab and just the Ahab, I believe, is the clips. They remind me of a whale, if you can see that. That's what they remind me of, a whale. There's the tail, and then there's the head, but that's what it reminds me of, the whale. I don't know about you, but that's me. So, again, here's a yellow one. So, the pins are about 5.5 inches or 1.39 millimeters length when they're just like this, capped. But when you post them, they become 6.7 inches or 170 millimeters. Now, do they post securely? Well, this one does. Just make sure that they're in there securely. The overall weight of the pen and we're just talking about the Ahab right now, is 18 G's. Yes, it can be made into an eyedropper. The maximum ink that it can hold is about 6.17 mils that I read. That's quite a bit of ink. Now, the piston vac they call the ink converter is about 200 mils or 5.5 mils for the maximum. So it can hold quite a bit of ink either way you go, right? So what is a flex nib? What is a flex nib? Well, the nib is the ability to put down a variable line width based on the amount of pressure you put on a pen. Now, you want to be careful with any pen when you're applying pressure, when they say flex or soft, because you don't want to spring the times. Because too much pressure can damage your pen by springing the times, and then you can get them back where they need to be, but if you can't, you may have to send the pen off to a pen master so they can see if they can salvage your beloved pen. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. So be really careful. Don't go crazy when you're applying pressure. Especially if you're a newbie coming into the fountain pen world and you're dealing with a flex pen, be very, very careful. Take your time. Go slow. When you're using a flex nib and you're using it too fast when you're writing and trying to flex, you can railroad a pen, the nib. That's where the ink flow is not going to flow. It's going to stop. and you're going to have ink coming out, then it's going to be no ink coming out. It's going to railroad. Then you got to get your nib back to where it has ink in the feed and nib and get it back to writing. So be careful when you're flexing, or even when you're just writing with the nib. Don't apply too much pressure. So that's my take on it. So again, flex and soft will give a little more line variation with a nice writing experience that has a little bounce to a nib. You know, when you're writing with your nib and you really get just a really nice writing experience, and it has that little bounce to it, little springiness to it. It's not just a hard nib. So what I'm going to do next is do some writing with these pens, okay? And let me get my paper out. I'm going to dip some of the pens into the ink. And first of all, I want to show you the Noodlers. Let me get the right one because I got the wrong one. Excuse what? Dun, 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 dun. All right. Because I'm using the blue ink right now, I didn't want to mix it up. I'm using the Noodlers blue, and it says the American Eel, I'm sorry, can't read this morning. American Eel, Noodlers. Okay, got that cool catfish on the front. And it says lubricating ink as well, made in the good old USA. So before I do anything, let me show you this beautiful ink. At least I think it's really a gorgeous looking ink. Look at that. That is a good looking blue. Look at that blue. That is Noodlers. So I've been using this pen for a while, so I'm going to leave it unposted because it fits my hand nice. So it just may run out of ink, so I may need to prime it or give it some more ink. But here it is. This is the Noodlers. Blue. And this is no pressure whatsoever. And this is just a wetness. Wet noodle, isn't it? I'm using rhodia. So we'll do some writing. See, this is no pressure, and this is with some pressure. Now watch my downstroke again. Now this is with no pressure. So let's just do it this way. Now downstroke, downstroke, downstroke. Okay, here where you can see that I did the flexing on the downstrokes. only on the downstrokes I was doing some flexing. So this pen writes really nicely. And that is some nice flexing. And I'm learning how to flex. This is just writing regularly. And this is with flexing, as you can tell. No flex, flexing. On that downstroke, you can see that flex pop. Boom. This is flexing the nib. Look at those times right here. Flex out. Boom. That is done intentionally. That is what you call railroading right there. That's what's railroading all about. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do next is change out the pen to a different pen. So, again, that's railroading. Got it? Railroading. Alright, now, let's do some other pens, okay? I'm going to use the same ink. Now, I don't need to use this one because this is a flex nib still. They have the line all the way down the nib to the very end. Here is the Conrad. Same thing. They're all going to do the same. So there's no need to do it. The one I want to do is the music nib. I'm just going to dip it in the ink. And see if I can get the results that I want to share with y'all. All right. And I'm just doodling around with it. Noodlers. All right. When I hold it up, as you see, this is the line that I get. When I hold it down, there's a line that I get. And with more pressure. So this pen is really a great, cool music nib pen at an affordable price. Really a nice pen. I really like it. I enjoy these pens. I really like Noodlers pens. And, you know, so why haven't I been doing reviews on Noodlers pens? Well, to be honest with you, I forgot. It just slipped my mind. I do want to get the Creeper since it has a smaller nib. I'm not sure if it's a number 2 or a number 5. Sorry about that. I didn't write that down, but the Noodlers, Ahab and Conrad uses, and I think the music are number 6 nibs. The Creeper. I can't talk and write at the same time, but as you can see, really, really is sweet. Downstroke with no pressure. And here's the with pressure. Nice and slow. So let's do the letter T. Downstroke. And the letter T. As you see, railroading right there. I got to get the ink back going, flowing. Oh, it would help if I get more ink in here. Right here. Railroading. Okay. Downstroke. Now this is no pressure. Big difference, isn't it? Yep, lovely pen. Really nice, really nice. Really, you can't go wrong, people, in my opinion, buying a Noodlers fountain pen. You really, really can't. You know, there's some people that don't like the Noodlers fountain pen. Well, that's cool. You know, we each have our own opinion. You know, we each have our own likes and dislikes. But, you know, I really love the Noodlers fountain pens, and nobody is paying me to say that. Nobody is paying me to say this. Nobody is paying me nothing, giving me nothing. But, you know, I just thought I needed to make a video talking about Noodlers, because I hardly see, well, I don't see Noodlers fountain pens mentioned a lot. Maybe I'm missing something here in the game, but this is, you know, a pen that I first fell in love with, and I apologize for not doing more videos, paying more attention to this fountain pen. But I do need to get some, I think, some more new ones. So, what I want to do next is do a comparison between the Monteverde Monza, the Monteverde Monza flex nib, okay, and the Noodlers flex nib. So, my friends, I just dip it in, and this is the Monza. Flex nib. Okay, here we go now. No pressure and pressure. Again, no pressure at all. And this is with pressure. And it's delivering it nice and slow. So. Now we'll bring back the Noodlers Ahab Flex. Wow, big difference. So, here is no pressure at all. That's the Noodlers. Here is the Monza. No pressure. Now, here's the Monza starting off with pressure to flex it. And then here is the Noodlers with pressure. Look at that. This is with pressure. And we'll do the Monza with the same amount of pressure. Monza Flex. Noodlers. Flex. So, you can make that decision. Which is more of a flex nib, or which pin gives more flex? The Noodlers Flex or the Monteverde Monza Flex? Both great pins. But, you know, in my honest opinion, in reviewing fountain pens, you know, I can't go wrong when I use the Noodlers Flex pen. It really is just a really nice flex pen. It gives everything it needs for a flex pen to do. You know, it puts down that variable line width variation that I want when I put a certain amount of pressure on the pen. If you know me in my videos, I don't like to apply a lot of pressure to pens that, especially say flexed or not even flexed, but just to see the amount of line variation that a pen will lay down. These flex nibs that Nathan has made and come up with at an affordable price won't break the bank, and I think you will find it an enjoyable writing experience. Now, before I go, I will attempt to draw, and I do not know how to draw at all. Okay? So, let's draw a stick person. Ta-da! How's that, folks? Isn't that pretty good? Yeah. Well, there it is. Just doodling, messing around. You know, the pen speaks for itself. It holds its own. Really a cool, fun fountain pen to use every day if you want. Flex, no flex. It delivers, holds a nice amount of ink. You can make these pens into eyedroppers. You can use I believe a cartridge. But all in all, it's well worth a try to see what you think. I gave you my input on these pins. It's all about Noodlers. You know, which is my favorite? Whew. I love the music now. I love the Conrad. The Noodlers are cool. The Creeper's a creep. It's cool. I don't know. They have their own personality, wouldn't you say? They all have one thing in common. They want to be used. And that's where you guys come in. Well, hey, I hope you enjoyed this lengthy video of my take on the Noodlers Ahab. Boom, boom, boom. The Noodlers Creeper, the Noodlers Conrad, and that cool music nip. Nipponset?
Nipponset.
Nipponset, spell it. N together.
Neponsset. Onset.
Well, it has OSET. That's how it's written.
Okay.
But I don't know. Nipponset. Ah! Well, you know, it's lunchtime. I'm getting hungry, he's getting hungry, and he's getting hungry. Time to feed my turtle. Turtle. Nigga, turtle. So, all right, folks. Hey, it's been fun. I've had a good time sharing some of my cool pins that been sleeping for some time. Until my next video, stay safe, my friends, and remember, don't text and drive. Later, folks. Peace.